our focus is Ivan the Terrible of Russia. Ivan the Terrible was the first ruler of Russia born after gaining independence from the Golden Horde, originally a Mongol state and later a Turkish-ruled state. His leadership and mental health regressed after the death of his wife, and he left Russia leaderless. Nobles pleaded for him to return, and he agreed on the conditions that he have absolute power. As a tyrant, he was cruel to nobles and citizens and started a couple unsuccessful wars. However, under his rule, Russia gained considerable land, established the first ever secret police force in Russia, and introduced the printing press into Russia. He built his palaces in St. Basil's Cathedral in the Kremlin, which remains the symbol of Russia's government in the capital Moscow. As such, the Kremlin is where Russia's decision-making, including in foreign policy, takes place. Over the past decade, foreign sanctions and global financial crises created setbacks for Russia and resulted in the country becoming more economically independent. It has its pros and cons, exemplified in the COVID-19 pandemic. Russia's economy suffered much less from the pandemic than other countries. Russia didn't impose a lockdown after the second wave. Additionally, Russia has grown its reserves like a savings account, particularly in oil reserves, to protect itself financially against any global crises or intergovernmental conflicts. Furthermore, Russia has maintained low debt to other countries. However, Russia's economic preservation also means limits in spending, with little spent on infrastructure and government programs. Russia's COVID stimulus was mostly in the form of tax breaks. Comparatively, Russia had an excessive COVID-19 death toll to cases ratio, and in regards to the economic policies, protests are expected to increase. Moreover, as the world is slowly moving away from fossil fuels, the growth and value of those oil investments are also slowing. The Kremlin is a protective fortress for Russia's economy, but some criticize its limits on long-term growth for Russia. Questions to consider for further research are: what was Ivan the Terrible's impact on Russia? What are historical examples of Russia suffering economically from international influence? How does Russia's geography affect its foreign policy? What type of government is Russia, and what does that mean? And what are different types of governments?